Hey man, how's your movie going?
Oh, look at this. Oh, this is tantalizing. Yes. Oh, hello. Hi. That was just unprepared and not scripted. That little intro is wow. Um, Welcome to the 10th anniversary version of Hey Man, how's your movie going? It's the video diary or diarrhea of my creation of the full fungus. It is the full fungus is an animated feature that I'm working on. It's going to be around the 70-minute mark, around that long. Right now, I have about, spoiler alert, I have about close to 20 minutes of it almost completed. I have about 12 minutes of it completed, done. So, speaking of done and over and yesterday's news, we have a very special guest today. He was on like the third episode of this. The reason I'm even considering this person to be on my show today, this valuable real estate we know as the internet, is that this guy is a guy that I call up and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think of this? And he'll go, really? And if he does that, I know it's not a good idea, but I might do it anyways. But anyways, he's been a great sounding board. So he's deeply invested into this film. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. I know him as Dua Lipa, but his real name is Dr. Gary Hodges, PhD. If I had applause, I would play them right now.
What an intro. What an intro. Thank you for that. By the way, I found you were reading the comic very convincing. I really did believe that somehow the live stream started itself while you were reading. Yeah, and you forgot somehow.
Very good. Yes. So, by the way, this book is Stray Bullets, Volume 6. I haven't read the other 5, but this series by David Lapham was recommended to me by Christopher Runciman, and it is solid. As solid as Gary's bowel movements after a night of pizza and flan.
I was hoping you were going to say my abs, but
as solid as Gary's abs.
There we go. All right. Thank you.
Filled with feces.
Yeah. Not to just plant the suggestion, but
So I'm already abusing my guest in my home, which is horrible.
And basically everyone who's watching. But
that's true too. Let's start off with some really good comments first. From Joshua Kremble says, question for Gary. What is your favorite thing about Star Wars and why is it midichlorians?
Well, the number one rule of writing is to really explain magic. Really, really explain it and take a lot of time explaining it.
Yes.
And basically demystify anything mystical in your mystical movie.
Yes.
I think that's always a smart move.
As David Blaine says, it's more fun to look up the tricks, learn them, then go see the show.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and that's why magicians, if you ask them how they do it, they'll always tell you. Because,
by the way, is it midichlorians or midichlorians? What's the real scientific?
I think.
Yes, and we have Corey Kerr has joined. I yield my time to Josh. I also would like to hear about how much Gary loves the middies.
Yeah,
you do love the middies. Yes.
If Disney had been responsible for the midichlorians, like people would be burning down Disneyland right now. But it's like I'm gonna just say this is the last thing I'm gonna say about it. This is what Josh is trying to do. He's trying to bait me into this. The worst things that have ever happened to Star Wars were from George Lucas himself. All right, that's it.
All right, enough. This show is not called the Full Banta. It's called the Full Fungus.
That's right.
Scott Circlin says, I thought you were going to say A-Rock. That's what the love is. Can you explain that to me?
The harder than when my abs. or my bowel movements.
Oh, you're okay.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Am I missing anybody in the chats? Okay. If you want to give a super chat, give it to Josh because I don't take them. I don't know how. So
there you go.
Send Josh one in my behalf. Okay, so let's we're gonna do something really fun today. I think it's fun. And I said, Gary, in order for you to be included on this show today as a privileged young man, I'd like you to come up with 5 questions about.
In honor of what? Why is it 5 questions? That's right.
Yes, we really do need an applause track, but I don't have one. But yes, in honor of top 5, I asked Gary 5 questions. I asked him to do 5 questions about the full fungus and the creation of it so far, but I think he's drifted, and he's probably going to ask me about midichlorians. So
I do have a variety of Clone Wars questions here.
Okay, Gary, let's. What we'll do is, and we're flying blind on this show because I didn't write down like this. I'm not following a protocol today, so we're gonna need your help, doctor. So let's start with your first question. By the way,
these are in no particular order. So actually, you know what? In lieu of not having a real plan tonight, we're going to do my question number 2. Question number 2 is, so I wanted to talk about the fact that you don't work from a detailed script, that you just have sort of an idea where you're going. Now, first, before I get to the real question, do you have even an outline, or is it all in your head?
Gary, haven't you been watching the show?
I have been watching the show, but just to help us start out this question.
It started out, the full fungus, when I decided to do a feature. I had this idea of what the plot would be.
Right.
I kind of knew the beginning, kind of knew the end, kind of knew some of the middle, but there was all kinds of threads. I knew that this was going to be we were going into the woods without a string tied to the house, you know. So, right. or into space, not tethered to the shuttle. So, or I fill in the blank. Sure. But at some point, I got really far into the woods, and I read, wow, there's breadcrumbs everywhere scattered around this forest, and I could be in danger of getting lost if I don't straighten things up. So, when I was in Las Vegas, I decided to do this. I wrote.
Oh yes,
yes. I did. I wrote down. So like I had a lot of these ideas scattered.
Everyone, screen grab that right now and read it.
Stop it. And anyways, there's like 5 or 6 pages of those, right. And I'm still on the first page, but I know how this works. Not my first rodeo. I know I'll get through it. And there's a lot of fun stuff coming up I'm looking forward to doing, but I did have to take those ideas. I had all the ideas written down, scattered in different places, and I just compiled it. I just forced myself to compile it. Now, I don't work off a finished script, but what I do is when I'm working with someone else doing a voice for me, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I will send that person their lines in a script, and I'll write a little brief, like here's the scene,
right?
Kind of
give them some context.
Yeah. I don't have to give them the whole story, but like this is your mood, and a lot of times the people, even if they misinterpret it and they do it a different way, I'll be like, oh, this is great. I can use this still. Sometimes I can't, but sometimes I can. But
well, so here's my question, and this is just a little mysterious to me. So you have a loose idea of like what's going to happen in this, yet you seem to have a very specific idea of how long this movie is going to be. And I was wondering how, like, is it just your impression? Is it just your gut? Do you have a sense of the movie well enough that you know, well, this will be about 15 minutes and this is probably 5 and this is 20 and you're just doing the math? Like, how are you knowing that this is about a 70-minute movie when it's not super nailed down? What's telling you that? Where are you getting that?
the time is more nailed down than the events that happen. So
Okay.
if I start getting towards the end and I'm like, uh-oh, I've only got 5 minutes left and I have 40 minutes worth of material, then 35 minutes of material is going away. So I start with that. I always do that. Whenever I create something, I always tell myself, this is going to be a 20-minute film, or this is going to be a 5-minute film, or this is going to be, I don't like to meander that. So
are you doing it kind of like a goldfish? You're just filling the space. You've set out 70 minutes, and now I'm going to kind of make sure this story has about a 70-minute.
100%. That's the way I approach it. Just like with titles, you know, I'll have a title. I usually don't work on something and not have a working title. I usually come up with the title even before I have a plot. Sometimes The Full Fungus is a perfect example of that, and so are my last 5 or 6 projects were examples of that. I had them written down, the names written down somewhere, and I created something to kind of fit into that. So while I don't use a script, ironically, I am really good at weaving a story to fit in a certain box, I guess you could say, time frame.
Right.
This one, I honestly, I'm looking at everything that happens in here. See, and I know this too. There are a lot of things I've written down in here where I might have a scene that's going to be 7 pages in, and oh no, you know what? I'll just do this. This will cover that, and then get rid of that scene. You know, so there's going to be a lot of things omitted from this. It's, you know, this isn't a Bible. This is more like just a roadmap.
I swear we did not pre-plan this. That perfectly segues to another question I have.
Wow.
All right. So
This
would
is
you like to add anything?
Probably the best.
Maybe the best. I still think the board game one was pretty strong. I don't know.
Okay.
Also, I liked in our album one that you guessed one of my top 5 would probably be Tori Amos. I still think that's a great top 5 moment.
No, that's a good one.
So here's the question that perfectly leads to, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Is there anything in Full Fungus, characters, scenes, plot points that you've already abandoned and know won't be in the final movie? And then the sub question, can you tell us about it?
I abandoned a professor of music and turned him into a music producer because I always had this professor producing music and certain scenes. So I just said, you know what? There's so much complication in this film that it's good to simplify a few things. So that's why I made him a producer. So I'm abandoning there was a whole school thing going on where he was teaching class and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you've got a character that basically serves the same role, but the whole, like what he looks like and everything around him is different now.
Yeah. And it works better. I like it. It works better. And it does give it more of a music theme. This, the film has like, you know, more of it's tied together. I'm sorry.
Is that the why you made the change? Like it keeps it in the music.
It's simplified. It's better than having a music professor that later on in the film, like, well, he's producing music now. Why is he also a producer? You know, I mean, which would have been interesting if you didn't have 80 other things that were interesting.
Right.
The other thing I totally cut out of this film was all of your lines, your character and your lines.
It's understandable. It's understandable. Well,
and I actually erased them, Gary.
Deleted and then empty, right-click, empty, recycled.
I wrote Google and I asked them if they could destroy any evidence of them.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
Yeah. And then you poured bleach on the hard drive.
Yeah.
Just all the things. Just salted the earth.
Yeah. So
I understand.
Had to do it.
I understand. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, when I'm not a voice actor, so I understand.
I'm wondering what else to let me do a little sneak because I know that there's more than that I cut out of the movie. There was I'm just trying to think. I know I'll think of it later, but a lot of the things that got cut out of this, they morphed into other things, and that's always the case in everything I work on because always I'll have too much material and then I have to whittle it down to a certain time frame, which is good because it means you're tightening the script, even though I don't use one, but tightening the script and tightening the editing and tightening the film, rather than the other way around. Just like, well, let's just add stuff that doesn't, there's a lot. This movie, the thing I have to be careful with, there are a lot of, oh, remember this part or this part or this part or this part. So I know the thing I have to be careful of, not having enough moments I have to be careful not to have too many moments in it, and actually worry about the pacing so that it's slow in parts and then it picks up and it's, it's a story, not just a series of gags.
Right.
So that's why I cut your stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand, because it was all just gags.
Made me gag. So, but these are great. These are great questions. You're not just making.
Am I doing okay so far? Is this?
Yeah, this is. It's like you've almost done this professionally. I don't know why Scott Circlin said this, but I'm going to put it up because
peaches and herb. Yeah, what is that? Is that a
peaches and herb? Is shake your groove thing. Shake your groove thing. Yeah. Show them how to do it now. Where's Paul Pate? He knows that. Oh, look at this.
Look at that. The moment you say it.
Wow. Let me say this. I hope we win the Powerball $1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try it again.
I hope.
Salma Hayek.
I just heard an interview with her tonight.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Oh, the timing's not quite right. We got to work on this. Okay. Are you ready for another question?
Yeah, and that was really weird, Paul Pete. That was strange, but that was good. All right, I'm ready. I like this. This is good. This is good stuff.
This was something, and I resisted the urge to go back and look at your earlier work to answer this for me, because I wanted to get it from you. But last time we talked, you told me that you only draw 2 mouth shapes for mouth sounds, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, it's E's and O's. Is that what you're doing?
Well, O's and everything else.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 2 shapes though.
Yeah.
2 shapes, one of them an O. So, and just to make talking, you're just switching up either closed, the O shape, or the everything else shape.
100%. Yes.
So that got me, and that blew my mind, because I've never sat and studied and picked that out. And it completely just passes for me when I'm watching your things. It's like, yeah, that looks right. And I'm not sitting there watching the lip sync. So, but after you told me that, I started thinking about it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you even draw different facial expressions, or is that all combinations of mouth and blinking and eyebrows? Do you ever do a scowly face or a happy face, or do you pretty much just try to make
I do,
okay,
but not. I do when it's extreme reactions.
Okay.
So I don't have. If somebody said, "Well, I don't know how to get there," well, why don't you ask somebody? I won't have somebody go, "Well, what is that?"
Right.
Yeah, but
you'd make that work with the toolbox if it was something like that.
First, for years, would only have open and shut, and blinks, open and shut, and blinks. No O's. Then I start adding O's to get fancy. The only reason I add O's now is because sometimes it looks really cool. When somebody goes, ooh, and it matches. I was watching, I don't know if it was Cherries in the Snow. I just watched it the other day. I think that one only has open and shuts. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching it thinking, this really works. It works with open and shut. And I think they do that in anime. I think a lot of anime, not all of it, but a lot of it only open and shut. So it gets the job done.
Yeah, there's a mid-generation of, probably mid to present in anime, where they mostly just do open and shut.
I absolutely love limited animation. I really do. I think limited animation is really cool because it's like DIY music. It's it counts on your creativity. It has to really shine, not just the animation or the effects that you're using or the software that you're using. The other thing I've been doing the last few films is eyebrows too. I'll raise the eyebrows. Sometimes I will in just a casual conversation have the eyebrows raised. It's little things, little tricks like that to keep the animation moving along and just give you a good feel of that. But Yeah, I've been using this film. I think I was telling you, I'm using a new lip sync technique that I've been trying out,
Mhm.
and that allows me to actually do lip sync without even having the audio to line up with it. It's like
Right.
it's very complicated and scientific. But
I don't know if this will be interesting to anybody, maybe not even you, but I was just the other day reading about the making of Akira, one of the greatest anime movies of all time. And I had somehow never encountered this before, but I read, so that was fairly early on. I don't remember the year it came out. I want to say it was mid 80s. But apparently back then, their approach, their workflow was they would record all the voices for the reason I came across this, I was reading about how difficult it is to English dub old anime. And the main reason is their original workflow is they would get the voice actors first, and then the animators would be listening to it and animating it to the Japanese voice actors, which made it a nightmare to English dub, or even do anything with the dub later on because the animation is so specific to that particular voice track. So if you lose the rights to that voice track or you have to dub or something, now it's all broken and it looks really weird. I wonder if that's why they went toward, let's just do this with the mouth so we don't have to have this headache anymore.
Well, two things. One is old anime. Sounds like a country lady that lives up the road.
Old anime, she makes the best peaches and cream you've ever had.
Peaches and herbs.
Ooh, dog.
Old anime makes the best peaches and herbs. And the other thing is, I realized that I do both methods of. Somebody had asked this a couple shows ago. Do I do the recording first and then animate to that, or do I do the animation first and I do both? I realize I do both out of necessity. There's a few people. There's a very small handful of people that I need to still get their voices from.
Yes.
And luckily, I'm not at the scene yet. One of them, I'm past the scene, but it's just a small little portion that's not going to hold up anything. But the other one is like when I reach the scene, I'm like, I'm going to need your voices by now. Yeah. But I have done some of their animation, and I don't have their voices yet.
Just their mouth going.
Yeah, and different expressions and stuff. And I'll match it up when it comes time, and it's just as easy.
Do you do temp audio when you do that, or do you just kind of ballpark like about this long?
No, I ballpark it, and it's not the method that I'm using now is it's like stockpiling movements of speaking. So I would stockpile somebody going, and then I could just edit that, and then and then I need a scene where I'll just cut in a scene where they're not talking, and then they're talking again. And I looked at it compared to what I've already done. The way when I was matching stuff looks exactly the same.
You're not picking
everything that you've seen on the Full Fungus has been done like that.
Yeah,
so, and a lot of The Night Eats Its Own was done like that too. So you can't really tell. It's just a new. It's the way the reason I did that is because this is a deep dive into my psyche.
Wow. Strap in, guys.
Because when I would go to work on stuff to like coffee shops, which is going to segue into my next thing right now.
Okay.
I love listening
to this deep dive goes better than that Titan trip, by the way. Is that too soon? Too soon?
Inappropriate, Gary.
We're not doing that yet.
My parents were Titans. So when I go to coffee shops, I like to listen to podcasts.
Okay.
Like I can animate to music or anything, but when you're doing voices and you're listening to a podcast, you can't really. No. You have to listen to the voice. So I thought, well, what if I could just animate all the talking even before I match up the voices, and I could listen to podcasts while I'm doing that, and then I'll have all the voice animation done. I just have to match it to the audio, and I started doing that a couple of projects back, and I found not only is it more fun, but I was getting more done. Like oh, now, like I said, I've got a couple of scenes done, animated, but I don't have the voices yet for my actors that I need. So, but that's a good problem to have. Now I'm ahead of them. So,
absolutely.
Speaking of which, I was thinking, and save that last We have what? 2 more questions?
We got 2 more questions.
I'm going to save those. I'm going to save those for now. And Paul gives a yes. Oh, by the way, Josh wants to see me do some anime like Dragon Ball Z with a still frame just shaking.
I would like to see that. I want to see that too. I second that. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's great.
You should have your characters watching an anime, and then you do within a movie. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I have characters watching a bowling. Is that close?
See?
Okay.
Well, do they power up before they roll the ball? If they sit
Well,
there and go, oh.
Now that we're going to see a little bit of that later in the show, as a matter of fact. But for right now, speaking of coffee shops we were talking about,
Yes.
There's a handful, 4 of them to be exact, coffee shops that I frequent where I've done. Some of them go as far back as Revengeance. I was working on Revengeance in these coffee shops, a couple of them, one of them. But the other ones, all of them, the last couple of cartoons I've done, I've worked on a lot in these coffee shops. When I go to a coffee shop, I was talking to Leanne about this. When I go to a coffee shop, I really love the social environment. I love being out in the midst of people, in the mix of things.
That's right.
But I don't want to share like, hey, look what I'm working on. What are you doing over there?
No.
And if somebody talks to me, I'll talk to them, but I tuck away in a corner.
You're not there to be spectated. You're not there to kind of look and show off.
Yeah. But I have such love for these places that I wanted to share them with you guys.
Oh, let's see.
And show you where a lot of my work has been done. All right. So, and this is in no particular order, but let's look at my creation stations. All right. The first one, this is Copa Vida in Pasadena, California. This is like the most high-end coffee shop where a cup of coffee's about $70 or $80. I don't know. It's quite a bit.
Yeah. Those are the best places if you're a
this
coffee
is where you nurse now this is the lobby. When you walk in, there is actually another room over to the far left that you can't see here. Yeah. But it's a brick room, like the Improv. It's a brick room, and it has these really cool old tables, and it has a kind of a bar, but people sit at the bar, and it is packed all the time. Every table's full.
Well, that sounds like the room I would want. That sounds like
and that is the most like Friends type coffee shop. It's that other room. This room's very sleek and space age. The other room's old school, and it has a big glass window that looks right into Old Town Pasadena, and it's just especially on a rainy day, it's such a great environment. Yeah, and we were there today, as a matter of fact. I was there this morning. I was off today, and I went to 2 places today. But I've done a lot of work at this place. So, okay. And I'm going to show you another one here. This one is probably the one I've done the most work at. And that is not my bag, but that is my bar where I sit. And I tuck away at Starbucks in my town. And,
little hipster place, little unknown.
Yes, I know. I sit at the bar though. I sit at the bar, and you're kind of like isolated at the bar.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I heard this old guy telling another old guy, I guess they go, I'm usually not there on weekdays. And I heard them say, oh, he's in my spot. I heard those words. And I was like, wow. I am in your spot, sir. Thank you for your service. I've done quite a bit. I've done writing here. I've done editing. I've done all kinds of stuff, but I like it. There's it's very private. I mean, you're like I said, I'm tucked away in the corner usually, but you're in the mix of everything. It's kind of cool. The next one is also in Pasadena, California. It is called Phil's Coffee with a Z. By the way, we looked at the origin of Phil's Coffee. I didn't know it was Latino owned. Phil is a Latino from San Francisco. And
so I'm seeing a coffee cup that seems to be outside. What am I?
This is literally where that table right there is where we sat today.
Okay.
Yeah. You could see a little like iPad right there. That's where I was sitting. I didn't take this photo, but
I see.
but that's where we were sitting right there. And they have the best coffee, in my opinion, out of all the places I go. They have the best coffee, and their coffee's a little bit cheaper. It's like $40 a cup.
Oh, okay.
But they are always packed. Phil, the guy who made this coffee shop chain, he said he wants a whole communal experience. That's why he has those tables like that. And if it was Jim's coffee shop, you'd have dividers. So, but it's a good vibe there. Everybody's very nice there, and Leanne and I, this is the one that Leanne and I, one of the ones that we like the most, and we go together. It's really cool.
Okay.
And speaking of, the one I like to venture to when I am in Santa Barbara is Dune. Ooh,
I kind of like this vibe. I kind of
love this place. I say go Google it so you see the outside. It's in a great area in Santa Barbara. You got the wonderful weather there. You know, you could picture the coastal weather there, and we sit against the wall, kind of where that girl's sitting in the yellow. We like that wall right there is where we usually hang out. I had a day off a few weeks back, and we drove to Santa Barbara, and I spent the entire morning into afternoon there. They close really early though. That's the only thing. But I did almost all of the animation for the boxing fighting scene in Dune Coffee, and I got a bunch of stickers from them too, so they're really good. But yeah, their coffee is like $75, $80.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't, if you want a deal, even Starbucks is expensive. But by the way, I'm just curious, everybody in the chat, what's your coffee order? I'll tell you mine.
Get us started.
I usually go and get if it's cold outside, I'll just get a cup of coffee with a little bit of 2% milk in it. That's it. All right. No sugar. But if it's warm outside or medium outside, I like to get an iced coffee with a tiny bit of caramel in it and milk in it.
Wow.
And then I'm such a weirdo that I'll get an extra cup of ice, and then when I get halfway down, I pour the rest of the ice in there because I'm weird and like watered down coffee, I guess. So, but that's my order, and that's my little coffee adventure.
Nice.
What do you get, Gary, when you go get coffee?
I'm a traditionalist. I like just a black coffee, or at most exotic, maybe I'll do like an Americano, which is slightly different. This makes me think of my favorite coffee place down here. It's called Cartel Coffee. It's another one of these $80 a cup places. Yes. And I think to work there, you have to have heavy frames like this. Ideally, a few tattoos, maybe a piercing. Like that seems to be what they're looking for. And my favorite story about Cartel is that I went there once and I was feeling like something different. I wasn't going to get my normal black coffee or Americano. I ordered a cappuccino to go because I was going to walk someplace after that. And they said, oh, no. We don't do cappuccinos to go here. And I said, why? It's like, because if you put it in a cup and you walk around, you're going to deflate all the foam. We don't. If you get a cappuccino, you get it in a mug and you have it here. We won't do it to them. And you know what? There was a moment where I was like, I'll drink whatever fucking coffee, like just give it to me. I'm paying you. Just give it to me. But that was only a fleeting moment. And then it was like, no, I respect this. I really respect that. I respect the commitment to the craft, to the art, to what they're doing here. I support this.
You should have got when he served it to you, you should have shook it up. Oh, by the way, Paul brings up a good point. Famous Phil's. That's the one place my daughter and her friend. Yeah. Paul, that's where we took your daughter and her friend when he came to visit a few years ago. That's the same exact coffee shop. And Paul, that was the first time I'd ever been there with you guys. So that's funny. I forgot about that. So Let's hear some of these coffee. My most exotic is
Red Eye.
Americana coffee with baby blood in it.
When I was in my 20s and 30s, one of my favorites was a poke in the eye, which is 2 shots of espresso in coffee, which is very similar to a red eye. And I think if I did that today, my heart I wouldn't sleep for,
Wait, is Americana like, is that cappuccino, but they put water in it?
Americano is usually, like, if you just order an Americano and you don't specify, it's usually going to be 2 shots of espresso and then hot water to make it, the amount of a cup. So it's similar to just normal black coffee, but the quality of it has more of that espresso quality to it. So it's a little bit like that. So then poke in the eye is, rather than water to cut it, you're doing full coffee. Or a red eye is coffee instead of water. Poke in the eye is extra shots. So now you're getting into like heart attack territory. But
look at Dr. Hodges, the barista.
That's right.
So a mint mocha.
Look, it's important to have a backup if things don't work out. I'm ready to go over to Cartel Coffee. Like, please, I'm willing to get a piercing, whatever it takes.
Don't let people leave with a cappuccino.
That's right. No.
Mint mocha. Mint mocha is coffee, I believe. Perhaps mint mocha.
A mint mocha, that would be what? A coffee with milk and chocolate sauce? So, because mocha has a chocolate.
And Scott Cirkland's favorite coffee, he says, I always like to mix up peaches and herbs with Ashford and Simpson. So delicious. Scott, what is your coffee order? Let us know.
Peaches and herb kind of sounds like a reggae album to me. Am I wrong?
Guess a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you ever hear them, you'll only think of them when you hear peaches. All right. I give you a choice, Gary.
Okay.
We could either watch a little sneak peek of something, or we could get to your next question.
Let's watch a sneak peek, and then we'll get back to questions.
Ooh, okay. I do have. This is going to be a first. You're going to see your first animation of where is it here? Okay. I did today, as a matter of fact, I animated stock footage of Chino Diamond, my private investigator, just driving his car down. And there's going to be a voiceover while this happens, but the voiceover has not been recorded yet by Charlie Rossman. We'll do that later. But I took another voiceover that's in the film and I put it on top of this, and then I color corrected the footage so it looks like retro. The colors you're going to see in this aren't going to be in the film probably, but it looks pretty cool.
Okay.
It's a nice little clip. I'll play it twice in a row. It's a real short clip, but you get a vibe. You'll get a vibe because I also put some of the other music that's in the film underneath this. So this will give you a feel of fungus, the feel of the fungus.
All right. Okay.
All right, here we go. Chino Diamond driving.
Nobody is born stupid. Greed, on the other hand, well, some people, they're just born greedy. And sometimes they want what is rightfully theirs, even when that something is rightfully yours. Gotta love people.
Yeah, I'll play it again in a second.
But I like the filter.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
How distant? What past are we talking? How long before the movie?
How
long before the movie does this take place? If it's taking place in the past.
No. This is in modern day in the film. This does not occur in the movie. Like the voiceover with that. I just took footage, like in the footage that you're seeing there in the actual film. He might be saying, I'm trying to find Wilt, but and they told me.
I see.
He's saying something totally different. I took that little piece of dialogue. Here's a little spoiler alert. That little piece of dialogue might be something that kicks off the film. I mean, literally kicks off the film at the beginning. Yeah. So I'll let you hear it
That
again.
filter, that's not a past filter. That's more of like a Netflix, we're in Mexico filter. Like, is
Yeah,
that-
I just the filter.
yeah.
The reason I put that filter on there is just for fun. I didn't. It's just an experimental little piece of thing I wanted to mess with, and I wanted to see what it felt like with the music and stuff. But yeah, this is equivalent to in the Phantom Menace when they had the footage, the Vanity Fair photo shoot,
Yes.
and they had Darth Maul fighting Qui-Gon Jinn in the desert, and none of that stuff looks like that in the film.
Right.
That's this. I was messing about. I'll play it one more time.
You're playing.
Listen carefully to the opening, though. That if you hear this, you might be sitting in a theater, and it might be the first thing you hear in the film. So
Okay.
Nobody is born stupid. Greed, on the other hand, well, some people, they're just born greedy. And sometimes they want what is rightfully theirs, even when that something is rightfully yours. Gotta love people.
very nice. Yeah, makes me happy. I like it.
Now, maybe this is, I just have to ask, especially as the author of D versus M. Does the radio station have any significance at all? Did you just pick some numbers? What is that?
96.5.
Yes.
I'm going to wait till somebody in the audience makes a really cool connection, and then I'm going to claim it.
There you go. That's the right
Or
way.
maybe I have some master plan that looking back.
So in LA, 96.5 isn't anything in particular, I guess. Okay.
No. How about in Phoenix? Is it anything?
Mm,
It's the temperature on a cool day in Phoenix.
yeah, it would be a relief right now.
Sweater weather,
It's
96.5.
117 today. So
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Hodges is broadcasting from hell.
Yeah.
100.
yeah, no, that's October probably.
You're the hottest place in the United States. It has to be today, right?
I mean, wherever I am is the hottest place, buddy. Wherever I am. All right.
All right, let's go to your next question.
All
I got
right.
some fun stuff to play in a little bit. But.
I want you now, you're going to have to, this is going to be a little bit of an out of body thing for you, a little bit of astral projection. I want you to take a step out of yourself. I want you to look at your work, your body of work. Setting aside the California thing, the California vibe, the kind of LA area vibe that a lot of your movies and shorts have, what would you say, what do you see as the common threads through all of them? The common, like, what are the sorts of characters you seem to be drawn to? What are the sorts of stories that you think are recurring themes? Like, if you had to write some sort of analysis essay about your own work, and you'd say, like, these are the things that clearly are attractive concepts to Jim Lujan. He always goes back to this. It always is something about this. He likes this kind of topic or this kind of idea. What is it?
I thought I had it handy. Well, for one, everything comes back to Scott Serklin's Gross Cards.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I was actually looking for, I have some chick tracks. And I think I said this 15, 20 years ago, and it's still the same. I like to do stories about bad people doing bad things, people that are on the fence doing bad things, but then everyone gets their comeuppance, and it just depends on how far along the fence you are, which side you're going to fall back on.
Okay.
So some people are redeemed, some people aren't.
Right.
Some people see themselves as righteous, but really aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't care, but it is fun to tell stories of people doing things that you would normally not do and get in trouble for if you did do.
Right.
It is kind of living vicariously, but it's more not so much like, oh, let's commit this crime, but you want to act
trying to get away with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's my theme. It's bad behavior, but also redemption. You know,
Yeah.
I don't usually end on real bummer notes.
Well, in the bad behavior, off the top of my head, at least for the main characters, it's never irredeemably despicable behavior. It's always this kind of small time shitty, like, what do you know, they're like they're like knuckleheads. It's never like your serial killer character in Lars Lazarus as the main character. Like, you never have something like that. It's always like these sort of.
Yeah, I don't like things that celebrate. There's a difference. I don't like to celebrate bad behavior, but at the same time, I don't like to be too corny with it or preachy with it. I like to get the mileage out of the bad behavior,
right?
But not the I don't want to make it look like hey, yeah, this is so cool because he's bad. I'm a bad boy, you know.
Right.
I'm crazy, you know.
Right.
I don't want that. I just want to be a lovable scamp.
A lovable
Scampy, shrimp, scampy. I don't have classes.
There are lovable scamps throughout your or people that you want to root for. If
the other thing too is I think for so many years I've created so many bizarre characters or bizarrish characters that I think I've become kind of numb to them. So, and if this touches too close to home, I'm sorry, but people that watch like a lot of porn, they get numb to porn.
Whoa.
People that watch a lot of violence, a lot of violent programming get numb to violence. People that play a lot of video games, get numb to, and if you're doing all three combined.
Is this an intervention or something? What is happening?
Maria, I'm going to bring your dad on right now. Can you hear me? No, but I mean, I think I've gotten, and I don't know if gotten is a real word. You tell me, doctor. I think I become somewhat numb to the weird characters, and some little bit on purpose too, because I've always said this. To me, Keith Richards is more interesting than Mick Jagger. Jimmy Page more interesting than Robert Plant. I always thought the sidemen are the most interesting, people. And when I watch a movie, say watch Mission Impossible. I haven't seen it, but let's just say there's Mission Impossible, and then they have, the guy that works in the office. That's like the janitorial. He's the manager for the janitorial center in their office. Like, that guy's more interesting than Tom Cruise to me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they don't do stories about people like that enough.
No.
Just people like, or if you look at it this way too, like none of my characters have super glamorous like jobs, and when they do, it's usually that's usually part of their downfall. Like, if they're an actor, they're usually a really egotistical actor. If they're
or kind of a airhead or something. Yeah,
they're usually they're sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's but humanizing. Joshua says weird characters is one of the greatest parts of the Luhanaverse. Thank you. And Paul said, "My wife likes sidemen."
Wow.
I think you need some therapy, buddy.
This is becoming a little bit of a safe space in here. We're talking about.
Somebody say cuckold. What is that? I'll be doing a story about that next.
I mean, I wasn't, but I think you just did. There.
Well, because of that, I'm going to have to redeem myself. And I want to show you a picture of Emiliano Koviak.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to reveal the villain. But first, here's where he lives.
He's done well.
This is his mansion in Beverly Hills. I think it's Beverly Hills. Based on a real house, but I changed all the colors, and there's no foliage like this in the other house, in the real house. but it is based on an actual house in Beverly Hills, which I like that because it adds a sense of bizarre realism to my work.
Yeah, it does. Even though it's not the same, it does have a place vibe to it. Like this has to be West Coast. I feel like looking at it. I guess it could be Miami or something, but it has that kind of vibe.
And I like how my lines aren't always, they're not straight, and the perspective, like, you know, I think it, you know, here's a little flaw. I'll show you. This car, can you see my mouse right here?
I cannot see your mouse.
Okay, how about, well,
which car?
The car in the right bottom corner, right hand side.
Yes.
That is Chino Diamond's car.
Okay.
I accidentally put it in this shot.
Okay.
I copied and pasted a car, but it was his car, an accident. And I was like, no, he's not in this scene. What am I doing? Like, I realized that after the fact. So guess what I did? I painted it. I went in and painted it black.
Just painted it black.
I painted it black, just like the Rolling Stones.
There you go.
So
yeah.
I see a blue car. And
I was going to say that the tinted glass to me looks more appropriate to that.
Yeah.
You know, that works.
Yeah, it was supposed to be two, you know, expensive cars, you know. So yeah, it does fit better. So if you look very close, you can see, actually, I think I can do this for you.
I see some people at the front door.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. You can see people at the front. Someone's knocking on the door. Somebody ringing the bell. Okay. And now that we've seen Koviak's, by the way, this is his West Coast house.
Right.
Emiliano Koviak is a very famous mobster, infamous mobster from the East Coast. Very, very rough dude. Cat and Paste, I believe, thinks he's really hot, which is super.
Whoa.
Caught me off guard.
Okay.
But
interesting.
He ain't that hot no more because he's 103 years old in this film. And we're going to get a look at him right now.
Okay.
This is Emiliano Koviak, 103 years old, without his oxygen.
Now, I think we saw a younger version of him last one time, right? Or
yes. So
okay.
he's still getting about, and you know, he's pushed around in a wheelchair now, and he has an oxygen thing that he uses a lot.
Yeah,
he's still rocking the gold bracelets, and
he's got the pinky ring.
And he's still focused. He's fully focused, man. He's got his mind on his money and his money on his mind.
There we go.
But Emiliano is the one that is the collector of all things Mink Fungus. He's the collector of Mink Fungus's music. He was very close friends with Mink Fungus in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Rumors are that he might have had Mink Fungus killed. That's the rumor going around. I don't know if it's true. But this guy definitely wants to find a piece of music that's rumored to exist called the Full Fungus.
The Full Fungus, right.
Oh, and he'll stop at no means.
At nothing. At
nothing.
If that music exists, he's getting it.
That's right. So that is our friend known as Emiliano Koviak. Gary, what number question are we on now?
Let's see. We've got the last question. It's a two-parter, but it's the last question.
Can we do part one and then take a break and then do part two?
Absolutely, we can. Here, so I'll start with the easier thing. What is your favorite thing to do to get inspired and get the ideas flowing?
I think it's to observe something, focus on it, think about it more than most people think about it, and find the joy and the interesting angle at that thing. For example, a lady sewing that repairs, prom dresses or something, like works in a shop like that. You can just pass by that idea in 5 seconds and never think about it again. But if you really start thinking about her, like, okay, maybe she didn't go to her prom, maybe she's angry about it and she sews little secret messages inside the dresses, and that's a great plot, and then one day somebody finds one of the messages, that's what I do. I like to observe things and then just like, wait, hold on, let's hyper focus on this. Let's deep dive, and then that's why I like secondary characters or sidemen or henchmen or things like that, because it's kind of uncharted territory a lot of times.
There's an untold story there. There's fruit that no one's plucking.
There's so the like the trope of Indiana Jones, the adventurer, has been done so many times, and it's done great a lot of times, but it's not something I want to do, or any of those typical, tropes. And at the same time, I'm trying to be very genuine with it. I'm trying not to do like, oh, I'm going to be so weird, like everything's so weird. I'm,
Right.
Because, so that's kind of like where I get my yayas, as we say in the business. Speaking of yayas, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
2 and 2.
You're an American original, my friend. You don't want anything that tastes half-ass, especially your beer. You want the American flavor! Do you want some foreign beer ballet dancing around your taste buds? I don't think so. You want the American flavor! You want the American flavor. Old Gold Beer. Taste the pride.
I wish I had an Old Gold beer right now.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to stand up and either put my hand on my heart or salute. What was I supposed to do there?
Or pee. You could pee.
Or pee. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right. So I need to do some more commercials, by the way. For different products in the Luhanaverse, because it's so much fun to do that. I have some lined up too. I have a few recorded, the audio is recorded for, but it's actually harder to do those than it is to do regular.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe because it has to look like a commercial and everything has to be more compact and tight.
Yeah, it's a little more technical. You're you're satirizing something.
Oh, okay. Paul says, I love that Cat and Paste. That's her name. Thinks one of your characters is hot. That means you've done your job. Yes, I have. Thank you. But I thought that was really funny. I look at him differently now. No, but like I've told people before, go back and watch Seven Smiles. It's a cartoon I did years ago, and Emiliano Koviak is one of the he's the villain in that too. So I want to show you something else before we get to the second part of your question.
Sure.
Speaking of music, I don't know if I showed this before or not, but there's a little bit of music nostalgia in there. This is a hitman that's going through different albums. He's looking through different albums, and one of them that he pulls out is The Lovin' Spoonful. Do you believe in magic? I just when I had him going through the different albums, for some reason, this is the first one that I thought of. They should pull out The Loving Spoonful. Yeah, but this is in a flashback, by the way.
Okay.
In 1971 flashback.
Yes.
So, and then I did have something else to show you, Gary, before we get to the last question.
Sure.
How's that sound, champ?
Absolutely.
Okay. Gary, I did show this last week, but I'm going to show it again because I want you guys to learn this and know. I'm going to show the video game test the game show test for Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to show that again this week. This is Cash Grab hosted by your host, Larry Carlisle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Colleen. That is not the correct answer. The board now goes over to Wilt. Wilt, what do you say?
Well, Larry, I believe it's Willie Ames who played the character Buddy Limback on Charles in Charge.
That is correct! And with that, you take control of the board, my friend. In a moment, you can choose to use your cash credits to play the Gravitron 5000, or you could double down and play the board. Our remaining categories on the board are Cash Cow, 23 Skidoo, Angel Investor, and Risky Business. So what's it going to be, Wilt?
Larry, I'd like to play the board and double down.
Okay. So when you see the final, in fact, maybe I'll show the updated version in the next.
By the way, Larry for sure has touched a woman inappropriately.
Oh,
I can just tell.
at least every week, at least
100%.
every woman he touches, it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
No matter what. I have an updated. This is an old version of this. All of the lettering now is hand drawn, where I had fonts before. It's all hand drawn, and like the Graviton 5000 and the grabber at the beginning. It's all.
I love the grabber. Yeah.
And there's also a when it goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Colleen." It's a close up of the 3 contestants, and and then a couple of little slight edits, but and then it has. I should show this at some point. Okay. It has to what I think is one of the funniest things in any of cartoons that I've ever done. It has the host at one point he says WTF, but he says it like, what the, like it's just very casual, and then they go cut. It's just, I thought it was really funny. It makes me laugh every time I watch it, and it's only me talking. So.
I can't wait.
Yeah. The host's so great. Also, 23 Skidoo. Yeah, I have no. Yeah. Oh, Paul is going to bed because it's his bedtime. So good night, Paul.
I'm picturing him in one of those long stocking caps, like those kind of sleeping caps.
Yeah. By the way, Josh likes to play Champ.
I noticed Champ. I let it just ride by.
Buddy. Yeah. You can do it, buddy.
Hey, Sport. Hey, Chief.
Sport. Okay, since you've been such a good sport, Gary, let's go with your second part of the last.
Okay, the second part of the last question. So we established what you do to get inspired, get ready to make things.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite thing to do when you need to get away from the animation and take a break? You need to unplug. You need a moment, whether it's an hour or a day or a week. But like, what's your favorite non-creative related activity?
It is driving, listening to music in a usually a really beautiful area.
Yeah.
And then when you get to that area, just exploring the area a little bit and hanging out.
Yeah.
Getting away.
Yeah.
Like, even when I get away, I take my iPad. That's terrible.
Right.
So, but it would be it. And physically, used to be shooting baskets, but I don't really have the facilities to do that right now here.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning I don't have a basketball net. But what I do now, this is very, very prison yard activity. But I throw a tennis ball on a flat brick to myself.
Like Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Exactly.
And bouncing a ball.
100%. Jack, you know what? Now that you say that, it is exactly that, pretty much. I do that. Yeah, and then I write,
not at all alarming.
Work and no play makes Jimmy a boring,
Fantastic.
But I mean, that's literally it's mindless, fun, physical activity that I like to do.
Yeah.
And when I do it, it's funny. I feel it brings back memories as a kid, because I used to do this when I was a kid. Like, I'm an adult and I'm throwing a tennis ball against a brick, Yeah. But it's fun. I like doing it. Am I mentally disabled? Gary? Truth is valued here in this forum.
I mean, I am a PhD, so
that's true. Yes.
It's probably not professional for me to weigh in this forum. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, PhD stands for probably has dandruff. So.
Oh, Christopher Runsman showed up.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what?
That's
wait.
Right.
Hold on. Let's give it. Okay, what did I miss? From the beginning, please. Ooh.
Boy.
Well, while we vamp, let me see if I have anything I could show Chris that he hasn't seen. That sounds really dirty. Chris, we're going to give you a little bit of this. I'm going to play the Chino clip one more time. It's real short.
Do it.
There's a little, I put this together, Chris, that is not in the movie. Although every element that you're going to see is in the movie, but they don't, The music, the visual, and the voice are not in this order in the movie, but here you go.
Nobody is born stupid. Greed, on the other hand, well, some people, they're just born greedy. And sometimes they want what is rightfully theirs, even when that something is rightfully yours. Gotta love people.
Ah, yes. Ah, yes. And Gary is a doctor of love. So in summary, still feeling good about the movie. It's really starting to take form, take shape. I have at least 2 big recording sessions with Charlie left to do.
Yes.
And I'll have all his parts, which also sounds very dirty.
All his parts, all of them.
Yeah. Christopher says, hot diggly-doo. That's some snap to it.
Does have some
Oh,
snap.
in honor of hold on, let me see if I can do this. This is gonna be tricky. Tell me if this messes up the stream.
Okay.
Can you still see me?
I still see you.
Okay. And in honor of our friend Chris, I'm going to say something that he's been requesting for quite some time. Christopher Runciman, by the way, doing one-page comics.
Yes.
Every day at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Christopher Runciman. His name is in the chat. Go hit his YouTube page. Check it out. He's an amazing, amazing creator. And you really do need to check it out.
I like this typo of Joshua. Jawahus. I think that could be Crumble's first name. It could be Jawahus Crumble, I think. I'm writing this down. We can't lose that.
Crumble. I like it.
Jawahus Crumble. That has a sound. That could be somebody.
Yes, it is somebody. That's somebody's son. All right. I know this gag's taking forever. I apologize, but it'll be worth it, as all things are.
Of course.
Okay, here we go. So, ask me another question that you want, something you want to know.
You mean go off script, off the file?
Yes, just a random question. Any question about my creative process. Go.
Oh boy. Let's see here.
I'm going to answer it in a jokey way, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Well, where do you get your ideas from?
Where do I get my ideas from? Well, I look inward and project outward, because most ideas are outwardly outrageous. That's where I get my ideas from, boyo.
I have to tell you, as someone who grew up with you two, seeing Bono look that old is bumming me out, man. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer.
Yes. Now say $100, $200, $300. And I can hear those saxophones in the full fungus. Josh,
one of my favorite Bono moment. Every time I see him, I think about this. I don't know why it got stuck in my head, but what was the album they did with
Pavarotti?
The one that had She Moves in Mysterious Ways and Lemon and
Achtung Baby.
Achtung Baby. Okay.
Yeah. When
that came out, I remember it was a minor controversy with the then long-time U2 fans, where it felt like a big deviation. They were upset. Apparently there was it was enough of a thing where he was at a red carpet somewhere and an MTV VJ stuck a microphone in his face and said, "What do you have to say to the fans who don't love the new direction?" Settle down, Josh. Don't love the new direction of U2, and they don't love the new album. And Bono, I'm not going to do the voice because I can't do the accent. He's like, what do you say to those fans? And he said, We don't need them. And just kept trucking down the red carpet. Just did not give one solitary F that anybody maybe didn't like his album. And I thought that was the most rock star thing I'd ever seen at that point in my life.
I have a really personal request too for Joshua. I'd like to see him do an album called Joshua Tree, but it's all Josh's photos like that with the desert background. It's recreating the album cover with all Josh.
Yes, do that. Well, that I think that could. Yeah, I like what Christopher just said here. Joahu's Tree. There we go.
So we're gonna give right now our U2. Yep, I just did that quick off the top of your head.
You did.
All right. I know what my number one U2 song is.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
Stamp, because it's one of my favorite songs. And I've always said it is probably my favorite music video.
Yes.
Ever.
Okay.
Do you want number one right away, or should we work our way back?
It's up to you.
Number 5.
You're taking control.
Let's start with number 5. Love is Blindness off of Octung Baby. I think it's a great song. Love is Blindness. Love is Blindness.
That's your number 5.
That's my number 5. We're going to move fast. These are not legally binding documents. Folks, you're getting a top 5 free here. And if you'd like to contribute your top 5.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Now, I'm going to admit I pulled up a list because I'm bad with song names. I know the songs, but I'm not going to sit and hum them or sing them to people. But now I've got the name. Now I can do it. So we're starting at 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think my 5, because it's so weird, and I thought the video was, when I saw it in 1993, I would have been 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the video was hilarious because it was so strange. I'm going to put Lemon at number 5. I thought Lemon was funny and weird. And
Runsman says
there
Lemon.
we go. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yes. Josh says In the Name of Love, which is Pride. That's his number 1. Okay, so that's your 5.
That's my 5.
4 would be wait, I gotta reverse engineer this. I did this to myself. There's that, there's that. And I'm probably forgetting some. I know I'm forgetting some. I was going to say Two Hearts Beat as One, but I will not say that because recently there's a song called Seconds.
Oh.
It takes a second to say goodbye, say goodbye, say goodbye. Oh, oh, oh. That one. That's a great song. It's
I don't
so
know
good.
if I even really know that one.
Yeah,
a lot of my YouTube stuff is going to be 90s and prior. So just
yeah, Seconds is become one of my favorite U2 songs.
all right. Okay.
Yes. So, what is your number?
I'm going to keep with actually no, Lemon was Europa apparently.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to switch to Akchung Baby. I caught this in high school. I also loved this video, loved this song. It kind of, I don't know if I love it as much as I love the feels it gives me. It reminds me of high school, reminds me of being like 16, and that's Mysterious Ways.
That's a great one. When I first heard that, it was very hypnotic, very like I hadn't heard anything like it. By the way, this is a super deep cut. Kurt Cobain, very good call. That's what the moonlight means to me. That is a song by Max Suage, who is in All That Glitters. It's one of our cartoon songs. So that's a good deep cut. I wish it was a U2 song. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Would be number 2. Gotcha. And Mysterious Ways was his number 3. Okay. Now we're going into top 3. Okay.
Top 3.
My number 3 song will be. Damn it. I know my top 2. What is my number 3? What's your number 3, Gary?
Oh, I'm actually going to go with I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell everyone right now, my top 3 are all off of Joshua Tree. All of them. Joshua Tree, and I'm going to even, Joshua Tree is an album that could have squeaked into my top 5 albums of all time. So
really?
it got cut. I mean, it wasn't a toss up, but I had it as like in my initial list of like what conceivably could be one of my top 5 albums of all time. I had to put Joshua Tree in the running.
I think I'm going to say my number 3 would be New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And that's old school U2. I know what my number 1 and number 2 are for sure. Like there's no, but yeah. Wow, here is another, look at this, another deep cut.
Oh.
Stop the Limo. You guys got to go look these up. We love Kurt Cobain. Wow.
New Year's Day is probably a runner-up for me.
Did I say Love Is Blindness already? Was that my number 5?
I thought it was, wasn't it?
Okay,
what was your number 5?
I thought it was Love Is Blindness.
I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stick with where I'm at. You know why I say New Year's Day? Because
it's a good song.
It's a great song, and every time I hear it, I don't fast forward it. Two Hearts Beat as One is a great song, but I sometimes will skip it. But New Year's Day is just, it's a great song. And it has great parts to it. All right, you ready for number 2 and 1?
I'm ready.
Number 2, Sometimes in My Thoughts would be my number 1 U2 song, but number 1 is just way too strong for me.
Yeah.
Is Bullet the Blue Sky is my number 2 favorite U2 song ever.
Okay. All right. Well, my number 2 is Where the Streets Have No Name.
You just got their greatest hits. Come on, Gary.
No. Well, look, Joshua Tree, I still think is perhaps their greatest album. So if you're going to be listing U2 songs, I mean, a lot of them are going to come off there. But no, Streets of No. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just classic, perfect U2. You gotta go with it. You gotta. It's not as classic as my number 1, which is not going to shock anybody, but it's got to be on that list.
Also, shout out to "Come to Daddy," another great song.
Yeah.
By Neeson and Jim. Okay. All right. Drum roll.
All right. Number 1.
Number 1 is not only my favorite U2 song, it's in my top 10 songs of all time.
Okay.
And gets the number 1 video. Just happens to be the best video, in my opinion, because the music video to the song fits the song so well that it almost looks like an accident.
Okay.
It fits perfectly well.
Okay.
But my number 1 U2 song is The Unforgettable Fire.
Wow.
Love that song. It's such a spooky song, such an eerie song, but with such a strong driving beat through the whole thing. And it covers a lot of ground. It sounds very loose, almost like he's making it up as he went along, but everything fits so well. And the production on it's so good. And
I don't know if I've ever seen the video. Now I got to go and watch the video.
Yeah, the video came out, I want to say it's like 1984, but it came out. Oh, look at Christopher Runciman agrees. Yes, many people do. Wow. Unforgettable Fire, the music video. They redid it. They didn't redo it. They edited a weird part. There's a part where take note to this, because they took the best part of the video out when they re-edited it a few years back. There's a violin part in the middle where it goes dun 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 dun, some cellos, and they put cello players in it in the video, and they took out the best part of the video where Larry Mullen and Jr. and Adam Clayton are walking down these stairs, and they're really blue lit, like there's blue light, and they're just walking, and it just fits the music so well. But I saw the video not that long ago, and they replaced that part with cello players, and it like took out the best part of the video. But that's such a good song.
Wow.
Very good. Josh is going good night. Good night.
Josh, good to see you.
Good night to Ben as well.
Yes.
And I think we snuck in a top 5, man. Can you
We
believe
did.
it?
Well, I've got a number 1 and I've got
Oh,
an
yeah.
honorable mention.
You're number 1. I'm sorry.
No. It's fine.
What
This
is
is
your
not shocking for anybody. And look, this is one of those songs that's hurt by the fact that it's everywhere all the time. And we've taken
Let me guess. Let me guess. It's Pride in the Name of Love or Sunday Bloody Sunday.
No.
No?
With or without you.
Oh my
With or
God.
without you.
Yeah. When I hear With or Without You, I think of the parking lot in high school and somebody was playing it from a truck.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, this isn't rap, because that's all people would play. And they were playing it and people liked it. And I was like, wow, this is so weird that people like this. It's such an unusual song.
With or without you, it's to me, and this is obviously, it's very like age and nostalgia specific. It's the soundtrack for teenage love and the late 80s and all of the like everything that's linked to any of those things. Like to me it's way more like my junior high and high school kind of background song than a lot of the things you think about for Gen X and high school, like, I don't know, Talking Heads and all that stuff, which, I mean, that was all around. But like, no, it was With or Without You was just, it seemed like it was always on somewhere. And it was especially always on at like a high school party, always on at a high school dance, always on. Like it was like sort of the kind of romantic, cool song for that period of time, like in the late 80s.
Yeah. It is an unusual song, which is that we've heard it so many times. It's like Every Breath You Take. When it first came out, it was unusual, but then you just hear it so many times.
Yeah, you lose sight. It's that classic example of familiarity doesn't breed contempt, but it dulls the edge of admiration. You've heard it so many times, you don't appreciate anymore how good it is. Yeah, same with that's another great example. So
I also think that the drumming in U2 is like one of the secret weapons.
It is.
Larry Mullen Jr. is, I think, in my opinion, a great drummer for his own style. He's kind of like the Charlie Watts of U2. Wow, we snuck in a top 5.
And then I'm gonna, as an honorable mention, I'm gonna throw in Numb.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Don't piss down the drain, Gary.
No, don't do it.
Wow.
Let's see here. Christopher Runsman, his equivalent, I guess, of With or Without You is Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Taylor, which is great. And it is very nostalgic to me, but I think it's well, what year would that be? Let's check actually right now. Total Eclipse of the Heart.
While you're doing that, I feel great to be involved in a conversation where Kurt Cobain riffs on the awesome power of the Neeson and Jim alumni. Yes.
Turnaround Bright Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know Total Eclipse of the Heart?
I totally
Every now and then.
Total Eclipse of the Heart. They're saying this is 95. Doesn't that sound late?
Oh, yeah. I think maybe the remake was 95.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Nikki French. Okay. No, 83. 83.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And that's why it's not as linked for me, because in 83 I would have been 8 years old. So it's just a little, yeah.
We are so top 5 in it, man.
No, look at us. Look at us.
And this is fun because there's no prep.
That's right. Your favorite kind of top 5.
Note taken. Yeah.
No deck, no slides, no vision, nothing. Just,
yeah. So
by the way,
yes,
I do intend to do more top 5s in the future. I think we should. I think we owe it to the people. I think.
Christopher's saying, sing that song as Bono, Jim. Turn around, bright eyes. There you go. So, I will say this to sum things up. I had a day off today. Went to 2 different coffee shops at 2 different times of the day. And worked on Full Fungus a lot today, to the point where I'm like, done. I was done. And then I had to do this show. So I'm fungused out today, but it was a very productive day, very good day. Next on the agenda, I'll be collecting a couple of those voices that I needed from folks. Then it's going to be a huge push to the next middle section of the film, which is that's big news. It's good. And then some follow-up recording with Charlie, and some follow-up recording with Deacon Burns, and I have a recording session with Nisam coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're doing some music for the film, and then it's just chipping away. And I expect, here's my prediction. We'll look back. So I've always said this, as I get towards the end of the project, I'll do these updates less frequently. But I'll probably do these updates every couple of weeks for the next few months, at least for the summer, end of the summer, probably. But my prediction is this. I think towards the end of the year, like around November or so, I'm going to have a pretty solid version of the movie put together. Not everything done. There'll still be parts that aren't done, but you know what I mean. When you're doing DDSM, I'm going to have a version that's pretty put together. You get a feel of it. I'll have a lot of the music done by then, and I'll have a lot of their voices recorded. But I think around November, end of November, and then that gives me a few months to like fine tune everything. And I've always said the spring 2024. You know, at one point, I can't believe I even thought, I was like, oh, I'll finish it by the end of the year. But like I said, I chose not to do that because I don't want to be insane. So
right. Well, and it's crazy that it's already mid to late July. So
yes.
What is this icon? Is that Parasite Eve, or what am I looking at in the thumbnail for Kurt Cobain?
PE, Public Enemy. No, I don't know. Who is Kurt Cobain?
Yeah.
Who is Kurt Cobain really? Yes. So anyway, so thank you guys. I so far feel really happy that none of these updates have been like empty updates. Like, well, I haven't really done anything. Like I've continued to make solid progress on the film. I'll let you guys know. A trailer. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, when will a trailer be ready? There'll be some sort of trailer like towards the end of the summer for sure. I'll have enough footage to do a trailer. So at least a version of a trailer.
Excellent.
So, okay, wait. I'm going to give Chris this because I always harass him.
Okay.
Random question of the day. Do you want to see the baby from the Nevermind album cover floating naked in the pool as he looks now?
No. I
Chris,
don't.
Maybe we already have. Gary's the baby from the Nevermind album.
That's right.
Let's just start that rumor.
I see it's confirmed that is the Parasite Eve logo. I know my video game trivia.
I don't know what Parasite Eve is.
It's a PlayStation game from a gazillion years ago.
Nice.
Around the time Turnaround Bright Eyes was being remade or something.
So, Gary, thank you for being on. Also, thank you for being a sounding board for a lot of the things in the films. I know I was talking about getting you a cut of the movie. No, that sounds wrong. You're not getting a cut of the movie. A version, an edit of the movie, so you can watch what I have so far. A cut as in not a taste. No, I don't get a little bit of a something. Nothing, sir. I said nothing. Right. But I will get you a version of the movie. Okay. Like I said, there's missing pockets though of what I need so far because working with other people on their time, getting their stuff back. Yes. But that shall happen. I have a recording thing going with Ken Mora. He's going to be sending me some stuff. Great. As well as my friend Lisa is supposed to send me some stuff. And then, we'll go from there. Very cool. All right. So before you go, Jim, try out Open Tunes. I think I looked into that. I got my method solid down right now. I'm going to keep it as is. But for the future, you never know. You never know. Yes, I agree. It's probably better than Flash because Flash sucks. Sorry, Flash, but you suck.
Yeah.
I'm using Adobe Animate, but I'm not creating the artwork in there. I'm importing the artwork as a Photoshop document from my iPad. And I'm having this weird fringe problem that Corey was trying to help me with. So if anybody knows about how to get the fringe off, let me know. But
Fringe?
yeah, like I bring in an image and it brings part of the background in of the layer, and I have to clean it up. So I'll show it to you sometime.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's pain, but it's the price we pay for being a master of the universe. So, all right, I think we're good. And Gary, please pretend like you're floating in water as the stream ends.
I think I gotta take my pants off real quick.
Okay, well, there you go. You're palpating it.
Yeah,
So,
here we go. I mean,
if
if
you practice enough, you'll be a master pater. So keep it going. All right, you guys, thank you. And remember to say the full fungus every day. After Effects doesn't have a fringe problem. Corey, it's the
he's trying to steer you to
importing. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
we'll figure this out. Bye, guys. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Cobain. Thank you, Corey, Josh, Paul, Ringo, George, everybody. Gary.
People watching on the replay.
Yeah, on the replay. Thank you. And this has been like one of our phone conversations, except
Except you can see us.
eye sockets. So, all right, I'm going to end this broadcast. Good night, everybody. And thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in a few weeks or so.